20 years as a neurodevelopmental therapist has allowed me to appreciate the quote by Caroline Myss, "Your biography becomes your biology." She goes on to state, "This biography includes the totality of your choices, the things that feed your body, your thoughts, your actions, your food, the things that feed your life." In my Handle therapy practice, I take an in-depth history of the person, knowing that their body and nervous system has been shaped, sculpted by their experiences through life. Knowing the flow of water can cut through rock and mountains over time, altering the course of the water, I need to understand where they had been and what had shaped them. A couple of years ago, as I began studying the expressive art techniques taught by Whitney Freya, where layer upon layer of emotions, feelings, and thoughts gather on the canvas and create a kaleidoscope of color and form, I was struck by the metaphor of how life creates layers of experiences, one on top of another, creating a tapestry of all that we are. As I approached my 60th birthday, I read an article about Jane Fonda's life review at the same age. "In order to know where I was supposed to go, I had to know where I'd been," the actress said. The third phase of my life was looming, and I too wondered where it would lead me. Spiritual teacher and author Shayla Wright describes the soul's journey into the body and life. Quote, "The soul loves this journey and calls us to take each new step. Once we align ourselves with the evolutionary energy of the soul, it will call us relentlessly. This movement towards the truth of who we are, the truth of what life is, what reality is like a river that we enter." Clarissa Pinkola Estes calls it the river beneath the river. For a long time, we live in the river on the surface of our lives, the river of survival, of false belonging, of all the contracts we agreed to in order to belong. There is a current that runs much deeper and truer, and we can dive down and feel the pull of that. The river beneath the river moves to a different rhythm. It is not frantic, desperate, and full of noise. It flows, and it is also full of stillness and presence. It is intelligent, loving, and full of power." End quote. I was ready to dive beneath the surface of the river and be pulled into this current of authenticity. But first, I would revisit my entrance into the river itself and those events upon the surface that shaped me to this point. So I gathered my paints and brushes. I cut a canvas 3 feet wide by 6 feet tall, large enough for me to lie down on. I tacked it to the wall and began the journey of exploring where I'd been and possibly receive some clarity on where I was going. I decided to create 6 layers, one for each decade of my life. I sat in front of the canvas and journaled first, taking myself back through a timeline of events, feelings, culture, family, traumas, celebrations. Insights emerged, awarenesses. I was ready to step up to the life-size canvas and allow images, colors, lines, words to gather on the canvas. At times, I was surprised by what showed up. Don Jose Ruiz stated, "The greatest journey you can take is the one within yourself." The process of journaling and painting the events, decisions, feelings, triumphs, losses, connections that have occurred in my lifetime. Sitting with them viscerally, visually, was a profound experience. I often felt surprise and curiosity by the images, colors, and words that emerged onto the canvas. An intimate conversation between me and the wisdom and awareness that the canvas seemed to offer up. The kaleidoscope of color and form was an odyssey into a life that I thought I knew and understood. Anyone looking at the canvas during the stages of my life might be perplexed, maybe intrigued, by the jumble of images or the meaning behind a magical tree encircled by sprites, a spider at the bottom of the canvas, spraying spiraling DNA, creating Indra's web. A kind of womb emerged in the interior of the magic tree with me inside, or more accurately, a symbol representing me that flowed one morning in a journal session. Hands outstretched, I offered whatever gifts I had to the world, unsure, tentative, but heartfelt. Just as an archaeological dig proceeds layer by layer, this process allowed me to visit each strata of earth and humus of my life. The soil was rich in nutrients from cycles of birth, death, and rebirth. The final image began with me lying on the canvas and tracing the outline of my body. I then began to paint me swimming in the water. The river of life, entanglements of DNA, the stories that I inherited, the stories I created. I lived them. I gave them power. I accepted them as truths. They brought me to this space and time. As I shed my old stories, exhaling out the old ways, the dramas, I turned my face to the light. The current carries me and helps the entanglements ease away. I exhale the old and I breathe in the oxygen of the light. El Rio Abajo Rio, the river beneath the river. What is beneath the surface? An artist, a strong woman. My body is strong and I'm guided. My job is to breathe and to be. The river will carry me and take me where I need to go. I float and move with the energy of the current. The river has dark, cold places, but I'm not afraid. I know the current has me and will carry me forward. Sometimes the water becomes still, almost no movement, and I rest in that non-movement. The water inside my body is in tune to the current. I am part of the water, and the water is me.
I'm used to giving people what they want, without even giving it a second thought. Now the world is crumbling around me. I'm gonna save this life, set it free. Tumbling to take your power back from betraying yourself out of fear of life. Now the world is crumbling around you. Are you gonna save your life, set it free? She's coming for me, won't you bring her down? Through the sounds of the trees to this holy ground. Anchor me, anchor me. I'm waking up now. Trying to conquer each other, the land and sea, mistaking our power for victory. Now the world is changing around me. Are we gonna change our hearts, set them free? She's coming for me, won't you bring her down? Through the sounds of the trees to this holy ground. Anchor me, anchor me. I'm waking up now. When I get pulled drop into the swell, wait for it to clear. Reach for the golden thread inside this web we weave. The spiral circles round the sacred mystery. Ties to our ancient roots were torn, severed long before we were born. Now my soul is mending inside me. I'm gonna love this heart, set it free. She's coming for me, won't you bring her down? Through the sounds of the trees to this holy ground. Anchor me,